Hey everyone, and welcome to REZOcast episode 137. This is Lego, and I've got with me Hove and Wilson here to talk about all of this news that we got today. It's an insane amount of information. After watching it, I was like, how in the world are we ever going to podcast about this? Because it's so much. Like the stream itself was like an hour long.
It's like an hour and a half.
More than an hour and a half. Yeah.
With the 15-minute Vidoc.
Yes, and then on top of that, all the leaks beforehand, and on top of that, a TWAB later on, and on top of that, we just had Season of Opulence drop with the raid at the same time, and so we have all of that to cover at the same time.
Would you have rather been on top or on the bottom?
Wilson, I'll let you answer this one. It sounded like you were going for it.
No, I was just gonna say, would you call this an info-splosion?
I would call it an info-gasm.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I stole that from Wilson. He said
before.
that like 3 seconds before we started.
We were all thinking it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, and I was like, I'm above that.
If I thought of it, Hove definitely thought of it like a week ago.
Well, we got crossplay. We got Stadia announcements. We got so much stuff. Like we got the Shadowkeep trailer, everything. We got behind the scenes stuff from Bungie and like what they're working on for the future with gear and everything, and with maps, and we got a peek at a Crucible map even, and all sorts of stuff. Man, there's so much stuff. So instead of jumping into all of that right away, let's start with this week, this season of Opulence that we just started, the raid. Just how our week's been. What have you guys been grinding after, Hove?
What? Oh, I mean, nothing in particular yet. I don't think. I've just been kind of playing it. I want to get the sniper, the pinnacle sniper.
Hold on. You know what you sounded like just now when I asked that question. You know, in the strike, with the first time, not strike, it's the mission. It's the first mission with failsafe. And she starts talking to herself, and then Ghost just goes, "What?" Like, after
what?
That's Hove just now. After I talked to myself for a little while.
No, you never talk to yourself, Lego. I'm always listening.
Oh, thank you.
In like the least creepy way I could be.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Also, I'm also listening when you don't think I'm there. I haven't.
This got weird.
I wouldn't. No, it hasn't. This is normal. I haven't. I don't think that there's anything I've really been grinding for specifically yet. I've just been kind of playing it. I haven't gotten to do the raid yet. I know we were supposed to do it Tuesday night. I was streaming, and something came up, and I had to, I was still able to play games.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of not be real talkative and wasn't able to commit without having to, doesn't matter. Didn't get to do the raid.
Which is nice. No, that's player courtesy. Whenever you have something come up, just be like, you guys, I'm going to interrupt,
Are you saying
if
I'm
I
courteous?
stay. Yeah, you were that night. You treated
somebody
us right.
clip that.
You
I'm
opened
calling
the door
bullshit.
for us
You were trying to get
when
Mana
we
to go
walked up
out.
to the restaurant.
You were
was
trying
yesterday.
to get Mana to go out.
That was yesterday.
that was Wednesday. My bad. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it was. Yeah, we were
to
bummed that you weren't there, Hove. We were able to go in and do the first encounter. We didn't finish anything really, but went in with Litlin and a full team of Rezo people. We had a bunch of DBM, Quick Money. We had 6 Trez in there for a little bit. Cam was there. So yeah, it was and Mark Square also. It was a blast just hanging out with everyone. We accidentally pulled all the we found these levers, and we're like, what does this do? We're like, if we jump up and I think we can all hit them at the same time, maybe it is a part of the raid. Maybe it gives us something. And we all jumped up and did it, and it was Chalice's voice came up, and he was like, I accept your challenge. And we were like, what is happening? And then someone died, and it immediately kicked us to orbit, like Nightfall D1 style. And we were like, well, I guess we're not allowed to do that.
I mean, you're allowed, just don't die, don't suck.
Just don't do it. Yeah. So we didn't really get much done, but yeah, Hove, continue. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, I kind of started playing some more Crucible. I want to get the sniper. We kind of put our thoughts out on that. I don't want to get too much into that, whether it's gonna be great, good, bad, whatever. But it's a sniper. It's a pinnacle sniper. I'd like to get it. And I will say, I'm not gonna say I'm back, but my first game, you start out with 2 sniper rounds. It was headshot, and I felt pretty good. The snipes were there. You know, it's
You talk about being back. Some of us never left, bro.
Yeah. Well, some of us are so good that we can leave and come back whenever we want and still whoop your ass.
Oh.
Not me. I'm washed up as fuck.
But no, I mean, it's been, you know, it was really a hyped kind of, you know, release and everything. And for them, you know, we'll get to soon for what they talked about today just makes it.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny. And I'll mention this when we get to it. I do think that this kind of overshadowed the previous stuff this week, obviously, because they announced this big stuff. And I will say I called it as to why they did it today, and we'll get to that. But that's even more exciting.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that they had to.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But I agree, though, that it's just so much information at once, and it even for this podcast's sake, like I'm sure people listening want to talk about crossplay and Stadia and Shadowkeep and all the behind the scenes stuff. No, I don't think anybody wants to talk about them anymore.
Really? Amy Lee can sing, man.
It's just we're kind of done with it.
I don't know. I think wasn't Millard Fillmore trending on Twitter the other day? People want to talk about him too.
No, they don't.
He was the 13th U.S. president. Everybody wants to talk about him, dude. Arguably one of the best.
You Googled him?
No.
There's no way in hell you knew he was the 13th president.
Well, I know, right? I was just going to get ready to be like, okay, what's the 18th president then? But
oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm with you, Hope. Shadow of Opulence. I'm even mixing the two up now that I've had the two in the Season of Opulence. Is kind of like overshadowed, but at the same time, it's so good that it's like all these good things stacked on top of each other. And
that's why I asked if you wanted to be on the top or the bottom, and you didn't answer me.
The top, then, obviously, like with the way things are going right now.
See, I'm not gonna lie. Talking about. Listen, I don't need to assert my dominance. You know, I'm pretty confident in myself, so I'd rather be on the bottom because it's a lot less work.
You want Bungie to just spoon feed you all this stuff, basically.
You're talking like bottom, like power bottom?
I don't know what he's talking
about. Are we talking about the same thing? Are you talking like Season of Copulence and the Menagerie? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm just talking about copulating in general.
Wow. So wait, let's talk about. Well, Wilson, what have you been up to this week?
What have I not been up to? Work's been crazy. But when work's over, come home. Can't wait to boot up Destiny. Miss that feeling.
I know.
It's fun. Can't wait thinking about it at work all day and all that stuff. But
it's difficult, man. I gotta concentrate sometimes.
I just pretend like I'm concentrating. But first thing I did was just start power level grinding. I've gotten all the way up to 725.
Dang, man, that's
and I haven't even touched any of my other characters yet.
I should have known that you'd be the highest out of all of us here.
Well, shit, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. Wilson's kind of like a modern day Hunter S. Thompson, right?
Sure.
That's pretty psychedelic.
I thought you were gonna say that's pretty high praise.
That's younger Wilson.
Listen, if anyone wants to read something awesome, Google the article where the guy followed Hunter S. Thompson around and recorded everything he did for 24 hours, because it takes you almost 24 hours to read how many drugs he took.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a really, seriously, I'm not even trying to be funny, it's a really incredible read. It's like 410, three lines of coke, 2 shots and a cigarette, 415. Like it's insane. Read it. Sorry.
There's a scene from Fear and Loathing where he has a tape recorder duct tape to him, and in the book he elaborates on that he would get so whacked out that he would tape this OG, tape recorders were pretty big back in the day. It had a legit microphone on it, and he'd tape it to himself so that when he'd get so high and forget what the hell happened, he'd go back and listen to the tape so that he could write about it.
That would actually be, I should have done that in college, actually.
Oh, man.
The man was ahead of his time. I mean, for real. The man was ahead of his time.
You would have had some answers to some of your stories.
Yeah, one of my favorite drunk stories I was ever told in my life was actually the story of what I did one night.
Yeah,
I didn't remember any of it.
Well, I don't remember it happening, but I remember the story on the podcast.
Yeah, where I got my nickname Cock Out.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember that. I was there. I wasn't there. But no, jumped in, did some comp. Love that everybody's sniping. Love that everybody's learning to snipe as well. So it's been like just straight run and gun. Like I had an awesome like 4v1 situation. 4 shots, 4 head kills, defused the bomb. It was great, and they were all in different spots at different angles too. So it wasn't just like four people running down the same hallway.
So it like looked nice,
dude. It was clean and it was clipped. It'll surface at some point in time. But yeah, been power level grinding. Jumped in, got the beloved sniper rifle. I got the 2 main perks that I wanted. I didn't get the barrel and the masterwork that I wanted, but I got quick draw and the new perk that like completely gets rid of flinch.
Are you serious? You got that one?
I got it, dude. So
wait, is that a perk on a sniper, or is that a perk you can get on any sniper?
On that sniper.
I think it's on that sniper, and it's in the same perk pool as Snapshot, but Quick Draw. So Quick Draw helps with that a little bit.
Which sniper is it on? I'm sorry.
Beloved,
the LDR looking thing.
So the one that's already. I mean, what is the handling good on that?
It's already okay. I think it's already really good with Quick Draw on it because Quick Draw does give you a little bit more snappiness. But I didn't get the fluted barrel and I didn't get the masterwork handling. But like that'll come with time as we unlock the Chalice and like all that stuff. So, but for the meantime, this thing's pretty fucking nasty. And I took it into Crucible, and the flinch is just completely non-existent on it when you're shooting someone.
Dang.
And as long as you don't, as long as you don't de-scope, it keeps going even after you get the fucking kill. So it takes about half the time of what, in my opinion, it looks like it takes about half the time is box breathing. My only gripe is that I wish it would make an audio cue a little louder. Just a little louder. Maybe there's not even one at all. I don't know. But I don't want to have to like look over and see. I don't want to take my eyes. The scope, very clean. Not a short zoom. It's more of like a medium zoom, even though I think it's supposed to be the quote-unquote long view or whatever.
Ambush, right? Wasn't it?
No, ambush is on the pinnacle.
Yeah.
It's on the pinnacle. But just loving that, like, there's so much shit to do. I've done everything except my Gambit stuff. Go figure. And I'm already like 725. Like, and last week, Lego, we did a fucking Last Wish raid, dude.
Dude, yeah, I forgot. That's the other thing. Dude, we did Last Wish. That was so
REZOcast raided. Thank you so much to Botbuster, Kami, Spiffy, Marcus, and
I wasn't invited to that one.
Oh. So are we forgetting someone? Me, you, Marcus, Spiffy, Kami, and Bot.
Bot, yeah.
Wait,
that's it.
Yeah. We killed it. We did good. Like,
dude, we destroyed. One phased everything.
Speaking of Botbuster, Botbuster is going to be making his way into making YouTube videos because he now has a lovely blue Yeti microphone.
Nice. Awesome. That's awesome. No, Bot has been so helpful lately because he helped. He got his Not Forgotten by the end of last season too, which was awesome. Congrats,
Bot. He
got
it last night, like the last
night.
I do want to shout out to Bot though, because
dude, Bot's a man.
He's one of the nicest people that I know.
Yeah.
And he always is like every night, and especially the last few months, like I go to bed like a normal person, like I didn't used to. And every night I'm in bed and I get a notification on my phone and it's like Bot in Discord, like, hey, anyone around? I'm home from work. And like, I don't answer him, not because I don't want to answer him, because I'm already in bed. And so just shout out to Bot for being the man. Get a new job so we can all play games.
I've played a lot of Destiny with Bot. I've never heard Bot raise his voice or be toxic towards any other person, not even as a joke sometimes.
I've heard him say gosh with lots of exasperation in his voice. That's about as close as it gets.
I feel bad because I curse like a sailor.
He makes Lego look like Hunter S. Thompson, actually.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That was good.
That's a good one, yeah.
Have you ever, what was I going to... Dang it, there was something with him.
He also put me in the news. Do you remember that?
Oh, that was so cool. Yeah.
He
That
like
was
produces
awesome.
his local news, and even though it wasn't aired, he made a real like breaking news intro with like pictures of me from the podcast saying I was doing all this crazy shit.
It was
Oh
good.
man, that was awesome. Yeah, so Last Wish was awesome. The new What's the Pulse Outbreak Perfected did work in that thing. Oh
It was
my
kinda
gosh.
gross.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was kinda gross.
None of us got 1K voices except for
someone
the
did.
person who already had it.
Of course.
Who was that?
Oh, Kami.
Super Kami
Wow.
Guru.
Yeah.
Fucking Kami.
And so that all happened like 2 days before the new content dropped. Then that dropped, and I've been, like Wilson was saying, doing trying to upgrade that Chalice, do some of the Menagerie. Which, can we talk about the Menagerie for a second? Because that activity like got so much praise when it dropped, and I think people are still enjoying it. I'm still enjoying it a lot. It's like the perfect solo raid experience, like not like match made raid like experience.
And the nice thing is, there's really like, obviously, and I want to say this now, I reserve the right to change opinions as we play things, because everything's always hyped when it comes out, and you know, I'll admit that. You know, we'll find some holes in some things. Nothing's perfect, but so bear with us on our excitement this week. But
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a really, really solid medium ground for like a raid like 6-man activity that has kind of raid light, not like raid light mechanics.
Yes.
But you can do it without having a bunch of mics or even being in the same party. Like, it could all be blueberries, and like, it's definitely doable. But still has that hectic feeling and this really large expanse of space and big bosses, and it's
is it bigger than you thought it was going to be? Because
absolutely,
it is to me.
I kind of still thought it was
gonna
going
be
to
like
be
one
one room. Even if it was a big room, I thought it was going to be one.
I thought it was going to be like a Crota Oryx type deal.
Yeah,
I think. Well, I think everybody thought that, right?
Or like Reckoning, where it's like 3 little sections.
Right.
What's your favorite part?
There's
that's
an
a
easy
good question.
one. The thrall, like the thrallway type of thing. Absolutely,
yes,
that's the best.
My dude.
Really?
The thrallway.
Oh my God, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude. Endless fucking onslaught of like shit coming down the hallway.
Yeah, and you go in like
a...
when me and Wilson did it, we were both Night Stalkers, and I don't remember if Dewey was a well or if we just had a well as a blueberry. But like you get to each, you know how each of those circles is in like a corner.
Yeah.
So like we would go into the circle, Dewey would drop a well, I'd shoot a tether halfway down one hallway, Wilson would shoot one halfway down the other hallway. Everything was fucking tethered. We were in a well. We're just shooting the shit out of everything. Like it reminded me of like we just talked about a few weeks ago when we got all those buffs and went into escalation protocol, and
Right.
it wasn't, don't get me wrong, it's not easy. It's not like you just stand in one spot and shoot, but you can just fucking wreck things, and it's just it feels so good.
It's like the part of the thrallway where you gotta chill and like get the darkness buff off of you so you can run to the next crystal.
Yes.
So
it's
not so much running, it's less running, more chilling. Like it's like control meets thrallway.
Well, you're talking the abyss. I'm talking the part between the bridge and the crystal room. Do you remember there was that hallway that you had to run through and there was just a shit ton of thrall?
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You're thinking the abyss.
So
same idea, but yeah.
You bring up an interesting thing though, Hove. You said it's not hard, it's not that it's easy, and this activity manages to give you the feeling that it's hard because it goes up in light level every time in difficulty. It keeps going up, but you can't lose, so it doesn't feel frustrating. Which is such an interesting idea, and you don't feel mad that you can't lose because it just takes longer, and so you could do it faster as you get better, which is, I think, the perfect raid light activity, one in which isn't frustrating you to no end, or you're not mad at people not doing stuff. It's like, oh, I could do this better, but it doesn't really matter too much.
And it's really starts the light level, or the power levels right now are really, I think, on key, because if you do the whole quest, you're an automatic 690. Like Lego, you were telling me earlier, you watched Dr. Lupo today, and he hasn't played he was like nothing power level. And someone told him to do the quest, and he was just 690. Like, there he is. And you go in there at 690, and it's the first section, because for anyone who doesn't know, for every room you go into, it starts out at one power level, and after you complete like one wave depending on the type of encounter. It's kind of like a wave. It'll say something like Chalice wants you to face more challenging enemies or something similar. And
more worthy opponents.
Yeah, and everything jumps like 20 or 30 light. Like
20, yeah,
20 light,
that's a lot.
and it becomes really fucking hard. And if you're 690 to 700, you're not gonna finish it. But like Lego said, the first one is really good because it's tough, but you can beat it. And if you lose in the second one, it doesn't matter because you just go to the next room and there's a little progress bar that you fill up. So it's great.
Do you want to know what my favorite encounter is? Is the gauntlet. I think it's so fun.
Oh, the gauntlet's super fun.
Just running and jumping, and you're like, you're kind of like racing your fellow teammates to see if you can jump better than they can.
Dude,
you know?
No, I'm sabotaging. Fuck that. I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, sure.
I'm gonna straight buck somebody right off the side.
I don't know if you know. There's a triumph if all 6 of your fire team members make a full lap. You get a. Well, here's the thing with triumphs. You guys should know by now. No matter how much I'm playing
with me, by the way.
No matter how much you're playing, I've been playing Destiny. I don't give a shit about triumphs. But each triumph you go in and actually turn in, you get 500 Imperials.
500 Imperials, which is really important to upgrade the Chalice, so it's worth doing. The only one I've managed to do, because there's a thing for like completing an activity without running out of time. The only one I've managed to do so far, aside from the very first encounter, is I've been able to do the dark room, your favorite one, the lamp sort of one. We did that one before meeting time. That's the only one I've been able to do. But like, it's so difficult.
We did that one, Wilson. I feel like me, you, and Dewey completed another one too.
No, you're totally lying. You were dead the entire time, and because of that, we failed. I'm sorry. I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry. It was not true. Hove was a huge contributing factor to our success.
It's somewhere in the middle there, to be honest. But no, we definitely beat the dark hallway. But I thought we finished another one of them. Maybe the one where you dunk the souls.
Oh yeah, totally. Speaking of which, me, Marcus, and Spiffy finished one of those with time left over today, and totally got like a triumph with it.
Yeah,
it was the hive one where you have to like destroy shit, bring it back, and dunk it. Right?
Yeah. That's the one Hove was.
That's what we're talking about. We finished it with time, got a triumph for that.
Yeah.
And then what else did we... Oh, there's another one where at the very opening part where you gotta ignite the light. If only one person dunks, like all 6 people have to dunk one. Is a better way of saying it.
Yes,
that's another.
Yeah, that one should be pretty easy if you have a full team to communicate it.
Am I wrong that there, other than every time I've gone in, the lamps have been first, but the rest of them are random, right?
They're all random.
Oh, everyone I've started has started with the lamps.
Really, I've gotten lamps in the middle before.
Okay.
Or
really? I've always gotten lamps. The lampening, dog.
Shut up.
I don't fucking know.
Okay, so one more tip, as far as like getting, stuff from this, the best out of it, is you can, at the very end of the activity, when you get your chest, you can roll your chalice again, go forward in the area, load into the main thing, and go back, because you have like 300 seconds before it kicks you out.
Which is interesting.
And you can open the chest again, which, yes, it's interesting. But yes,
or 6 times if you're fast enough.
Yeah, wow. I did it 3.
Yeah, wow.
But I also was not prepared. But
I put my stompies on, directional control. I was fucking...
Yeah, there's all kinds of
always
lore pieces. Like if you go in there and look around, you'll see like little glowing like vases and pots and shit, and they're lore pieces. So that's cool. But yeah, it's interesting that they give you it's like 330
seconds.
Is it 300?
Yeah,
yeah, you're meant to cheese it for sure.
Oh, not even that, but
I'm just kidding.
No, there's something in there to explore. Other than the lore, I think there's more.
It is to give you a chance to probably run around and explore and get lore. And all that other stuff.
Maybe take a trip to the shore. Don't be a bore.
I'm a poet and didn't even know it.
You just ruined it. It's all supposed to end in or. God damn it, Wilson! Don't
you gotta switch it up, bro. That's the problem with a lot of music nowadays. You don't have to rhyme the same last...
No one was doing music.
I actually agree with Wilson's point here.
Nowadays.
But that's not what we're talking about. I hate all of you. I'm going to have Mana come on and make homemade Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Oh,
you'd have better luck getting him to make homemade Pop-Tarts than to get up. I'm sorry, Mana. God, I'm savage tonight. Continue.
Yeah, you're rather rude. So is Lego.
Kind of being a dick.
The Menagerie boss. We haven't talked about that yet. I love the first boss. I hope they're all this unique, because this boss, so it was getting praised on Reddit too, because it's the first like one of the first bosses that doesn't have a stomp mechanic when you face it.
Well,
like,
he does not during the damage phase, but if you just go up to him,
damage.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
That's
just clarifying for people
phase,
that don't know.
Yeah.
That's great. During the damage phase, that's the way it should be. Get it in. No stomp.
They do it though. I mean, they still do make a way. Like, you can't just go up and stand next to him and shotgun, because the wall will come through and kill you.
Well, that's the thing. They do the perfect with the walls. It makes it to where you can't stand back and snipe. You have to move eventually. You can't get up close and stay there forever. You can do whichever one you want. You just can't do either of them forever. And it's the perfect balance of fight the way you want to fight.
Yeah, so, which is I don't move like at all ever. This is my side. I don't give a shit what you throw at me. Sometimes they'll throw the walls that are like left side and mid, and I'll shoot that tiny gap with my hunter dodge. Because I'm a fucking boss, and
that's impressive.
You did it by accident.
How many times have you like went to res someone as the wall's coming and they just die immediately?
A lot, because it's fun to troll people like that, especially Spiffy. It was great. I did it twice in a row to him.
So good.
Last night or today, but yeah, it was great. I think the words "it's not funny anymore" were said at one point in time.
And he goes, "Huh?"
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it was great. It's fun to troll your friends with the wall, because there's no immediate rush. Like, so that was whole. I just like trolling people in the entire Menagerie. I'm just trying to think of ways to troll people. Like, shoot people. You get the skulls with the crystals that are reminiscent of the raid layer.
That one's cool. Yeah.
I'll just shoot people in the face with it because it's bright. And like while they're trying to shoot the crystal.
I do have a question. We said it's impossible. Like, you can't lose.
Yeah.
But what if you don't beat any of the waves in any of the rooms? Do you lose then?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, that could go a couple ways. That could be the one way to lose. They could let you rotate through a second time, or it could be set up so that the minimal amount of progress completes if you do every room. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've never, because they're easy enough the first part that you will complete it. I don't know.
My first
you told me
time
earlier,
in, dude,
you're better at PvE than everybody.
Yeah.
I never said this. Never once. I actually said the opposite to everyone I was raiding with, because we did go into Crown of Sorrows that first night, and I was like, hey, we're just doing this for fun, just straight up letting it be known.
Like, it was like, everyone behind me, I got Mountaintop, blah blah blah.
Dude, Mountaintop was good for that.
Mountaintop's fucking dope. It's so much fun. I love that gun. It's great, especially in a well with Lunafaction boots. Oh,
yes, behind a Titan barricade, anything.
I think shooting weapon wise, that's some of the most fun I've had with a weapon, is shooting that gun, and especially in a well, dude. Because
which gun?
Mountaintop.
Sorry.
It just sounds like you've got like 18 potato guns like ready to go, and like just firing them off. Yeah. Great. You're in hillbilly town now. Potato guns, like.
So can we talk about today? I'm excited.
Yeah, no, we should talk. So I'm trying to think if there's anything left with Season of Opulence. There's two things real quick. The opening quest was confusing as heck for some people.
Really?
Yeah. Because with the Chalice, it was really confusing on what part to upgrade, so that people could, like, there were people that were raiding with us. 2 different people out of the 6 were like, I'm confused. How do I upgrade this? Or which part do I upgrade so that I can get the Imperials? Or I don't have the Imperials yet to upgrade it. Where do I go? Like, what do I do? The chest on the barge, they just weren't exactly sure what to do there. And just the wording of it was like, I wasn't confused when I ran through it, but I feel like I was just like following somebody else the whole time. So, but there were 2 out of 6 people were confused about it.
On the flip side, though, I think I'm okay with the fact that, like, it's not laid out for you.
Yeah,
go find it.
I think I'm fine with it too. And I think it was just we were in the rush to like try to get to the raid, and it wasn't like we were playing all day or anything like that. So
I just phone a friend. Like, Spiffy or Marcus has got me covered.
Yeah,
they'll be like, "Put your pointer there. Put that in there."
Okay, so that was just one thing I wanted to kind of mention, is that it was kind of confusing, and some of the UI changes. Oh my gosh, like the shaders all changing, and also the all your quests being in the like director basically now instead of the start menu.
I like it.
Wait, okay, so I don't mind it being there, and actually, like, it feels good. The only thing that I don't like is the way that it looks with all the text, and it's just so much information in
that's
one
fair.
space.
But as far as where
I
it's
can't
at,
stand that.
the only issue I have with it is just muscle memory that I'm not used to it.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
But I think for the most part, like, a lot of the times I'm not saying all the time, so don't give me examples of other things.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times you're going to use your pursuit. Like when we were playing today, oh, that treasure map, what planet's it on? It's on this planet, cool, and you're already in your director.
I actually agree with that.
Oh, what was that?
I agree with that.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I think a lot of people miss, like, because I was vocal about not liking the UI, but I hope that I was specific enough in, like, it's not that I don't like the placement of it, and I'm sure, like, a lot of that's muscle memory and stuff like that. The main thing that I don't like is just the clutter. Like, it just seems so cluttered.
Yes,
and I had
it
somebody
does.
somebody
Filter
pointed out
options.
to me real quick. I just want to say the other side. There were some people who tweeted at me like, I like the text being there and not having to hover over it to read it. But to me, like, as someone who personally just, like, I see a big paragraph of text like that and I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not gonna read any of that, no matter
it's all
what it
pieced.
says.
It's all like kind of chopped up and like
Yes.
segmented and stuff like
Chopped
that.
and
That's a good
screwed.
point. I could totally see that. I just feel like it needs more filter options. We need faction. We need completed. We need I like the ones that are like quest versus like just basic bitch bounties. You know,
And then it would stay there when you leave your menu when you do filter it that way.
Oh,
that
it
would
doesn't
be
stay
helpful.
when you filter it.
No,
then?
it doesn't. You can
Okay.
filter it, but it doesn't stay.
That's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
And very stupid. But yeah, I agree with you, Lego. Like, you're looking at it, and like, I don't know about you, but like my eyes tend to wander a lot.
Yeah.
So like, I'll be in the middle of reading something and be like, "Ooh, what's that?" Like, and start reading something else, and then
Absolutely.
completely forget what bounty I was looking for in the first place. Like, so yeah, if you could just organize it by faction, be like, I'm looking for a Gambit bounty, and then have it organized by factions. You know where like your Gambit bounties will be and shit like that.
Yeah.
Maybe opt in and out of the text preview on it would be dope as well. Like, so you don't, if you just want to see the name of the
That would
bounty
be really
and the-
nice. Yeah.
I feel like that'd
I would
clean it up a
love that.
lot as long as you could opt into it or keep it and opt out of it, whatever, I guess. So I do like it on that menu. However, to further back Hove's point, the muscle memory, I just finally got used to it being the first thing, like, because it was always, what was it, pursuits, then consumables, and I was always like, man, it should always be consumables first, like when you're trying to pop shit fast and stuff. So I
I'm always
finally
trying
got
to pop.
finally got used to pursuits and being above your consumables, and then they change it, so it's gonna take some getting used to, but overall I think it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. And then shaders also they're talking about in chat. So everybody's saying how weird it looks. And I actually like the way they look. I know a lot of people don't, but what I don't like about them is they don't represent the way that shader looks. Like, they all look steel now, and they don't all look steel whenever you apply them.
But I thought
That-
color-wise, I thought the whole... I haven't looked at them, so I'm actually asking you.
Uh-huh.
I thought color scheme-wise, the whole redo was to make them more accurate. Maybe not the whole metallic side of it, but are the colors correct now?
The colors are correct.
Okay.
Other than no, they're not, because there are still some that have colors on them that aren't there. Like, there's a new, for instance, there's a new Opulence shader that is from, I think, Menagerie. It's one of the weapons that you can dismantle it and get it. And it's like black and white looking, but when you apply it, it has blue in it, and you're like, what the heck? I thought this was a black shader. You know, I want it grayscale, and it's got color in there. It's a
Grayscale?
claptrap.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what a claptrap is.
I feel like it's a trap.
Well, that's not what a claptrap is, though. Should have Googled it.
I did Google it. That's what it said it was. So I don't know.
It's a robot from Borderlands.
That it's also that, but it's also just a trap too.
Wilson, you're also muted. As I watch you talk.
Just forget it, man.
Just forget it. So yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the shaders. It's like, it's whatever. We'll get used to it.
Yeah, like I said, I was honestly, like, I was asking. I haven't messed with shaders at all, so I didn't know. Because I saw somebody tweet, one of the devs, like, it's funny because you have someone you can personally get mad at then, because they were like, big credit to so-and-so designer who went through and fixed all the shaders to be accurate.
Oh.
throwing them under the bus.
Oh yeah, they
potentially.
really did. I think they thought that was going to go over because they do look really polished and good. You know, it's just to me they don't look accurate. And I think it's also Hove what you said before about the location of things, like in just that memory habit, you know, that you would have going there. People are used to recognizing their shaders, and now they don't, so they don't like it. You know, it's just
I
a
don't
change
recognize
thing.
it at all.
Which we'll get used
That's
to
a good
that part. So
Yeah, they look. It reminds me of being at like Home Depot, looking at like tiles.
Since when
Like,
do you
all
go to Home
the
Depot and
ti-
look at tiles?
Motherfucker, I went to Home Depot last weekend to get me some shit to do some yard work, and we fucking
Wow.
killed it, bro. There was a entire ecosystem in my backyard that needed to be
Dang.
taken care
What
of.
was it,
Like,
like
Oh.
Like the biodome.
a dome within a dome. Yeah, totally.
you
But
remember
it was the 100%. Did you know that was actually supposed to be a Bill and Ted's?
I don't know if that's. I think that's a rumor.
That's 100% true.
I don't
And the
think it
only
is.
thing that they changed, was the tone slightly, and then they got, what was it? It was one of the Baldwins, right? Am I crazy? It was one of the Baldwin
Oh no, it
brothers.
definitely
That
was. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And fucking Pauly Shore. It's totally supposed to be a Bill and Ted movie.
I don't think
Like,
that's
just
true.
put Bill and Ted, in that movie, and you could be like, that kind of fucking works for a mid-90s Bill and Ted. But they're redoing one anyway, right? Aren't they?
They are, but just
It's
know,
like
Alex Winter
confirmed?
said it was an urban legend. Alex Winter
Oh.
being Keanu Reeves' counterpart in the Bill and Ted movies.
I don't give a shit. It's not Keanu. I was kidding.
uh
All right, back on track. I'm sorry.
well, there was one last thing because I know we have so much to get to. I just wanted to hit on with you were saying about the sniper and everyone's sniping now, you know, and there's like new begin. Like I feel like the Crucible meta, just having changed Luna's and Not Forgotten and putting a Crucible pinnacle sniper out there has all of a sudden everyone's sniping. You don't even need to get the sniper kills in competitive. You can get them anywhere, and everyone's sniping in comp. No one's using Luna's and Not
Does it-
Forgotten because
well-
everybody says it feels bad.
Does it still do like it's worth each kill's worth more in comp?
I
or
think
is-
it's worth a little more,
Okay.
but I don't. You don't think
No.
so? No,
No,
it doesn't
it's-
say so.
It's a straight like number system, so you need 300
that's right,
like
it
actual
is.
kills,
Mhm.
and it doesn't. It's not a percentage. Like it's a legit like 0 out of 300.
Yeah.
Then you need like 50 headshot kills, so it's like 0 out of 50, and then it says like how many glory rank points
Yeah.
acquired.
Which I love that change too. It feels like there's
Hmm.
tons of people in comp. Like I feel
No
like
pressure.
AA games pretty fast, no pressure. Exactly. So unless you're me and you're going for Unbroken this season, then there's some
Oh.
pressure.
All the pressure.
We came to the conclusion, Lego and I,
Oh.
that as the season has ended, Lego is no longer Lego Lay Legend. He has been downgraded to Lego Lay Sack.
It's a hard drop, y'all. It's a hard
Yeah.
drop.
Lego Lay Mythic.
Yeah.
Lego Lay Sack, like nut sack.
He's gonna be Lego Lay Unbroken here pretty soon, and that.
I need to
stays.
figure out a new ring to it because Lego Lay Unbroken doesn't sound quite right. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to comment on the meta. It's really cool to see it change so much, and it's just amazing that simple thing changed it so much. Like I face all kinds of it's like variety again. There's people running shotguns, different kinds of shotguns.
It's
There's
also
people
the
running
first 3
It's
snipers.
days. So
I
also
was
the
just
first
gonna
3
say
days,
it'll
but-
settle back to Service
Something.
Revolver, Trust, Dusk Rock.
We'll see. I'm not sure because a lot of people using spare ration. Some people using the new
180
Sheik was
round
using
permanent
the-
hand cannon. That isn't.
You
Yeah.
think?
Oh,
Because spare
100%,
ration.
dude. I was using
150.
Service Revolver, and granted, I mean it's early, low level comp or whatever.
Uh huh.
But dude, Service Revolver is fucking nasty, and fucking it literally felt like an unnerfed Luna, or
Really?
like, you obviously don't get like the mag howl, but like I
Yeah.
got like Rampage on it. So as soon as I kill someone, I can go to the next guy and take
Yeah.
advantage of it.
See, for me, that gun didn't feel as good, and I still like
Love
Ace
it.
of Spades a lot.
And I
you
have
know?
a Trust that has just a dash more range than Not Forgotten.
Thing.
Sterling
It's good.
Drang, anybody?
Yeah, Sturm Drake's supposed to be really good now.
Such a hipster.
Uh,
Anyone?
y'all want to get into the new stuff?
Yeah,
Huh?
Hove wants to get into the new stuff.
So
Good
where to
face.
start with all this? Okay, let's start where Luke Smith started because he was just like laid it out on the table. they're going, like, I think almost the first thing he said was kind of where Destiny is heading. Like, and me and Hope were talking about this before, like we were playing some games, but like there's all these subtle, not so subtle nods to we're not under Activision anymore, and we can do, like, there were so many burns
and it wasn't
on Activision.
well, to be fair, I don't know that they were necessarily a couple of them seemed to be kind of burns, but a couple of them were just them honestly saying,
like, we can do what we want now.
Maybe not like burns, but more just like making light of the situation. Like,
wholehearted.
Like when he said we've always had crossplay implemented and ready, like what we would consider ready to go, but we couldn't do it for capital R reasons. And I thought that was pretty funny.
that's
like
the one that first clued me in on that. That was Mark Noseworthy, and Luke Smith kind of got this like, I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm laughing face.
Trying to be professional, but like, it's cool to see people be human and like laugh.
And speaking of them, I don't know that we ever mentioned this. You know, you remember when Bungie announced that they were breaking from Activision, and Luke Smith became at the time they said franchise director.
Right.
Now it said like Destiny director or something. And Mark Noseworthy's now said Destiny general manager. So it seems like GM. The two of them kind of, like, Luke probably, just judging by the terms director and manager in most businesses, he probably oversees the grand scheme of things, and then Mark Noseworthy is kind of right up there with him, but kind of the more in the mix with the, like, managing the people as opposed to the game as a whole, right? But they seem to be the two top dogs, which is interesting because I really like Mark Noseworthy. Not that I don't like Luke Smith, but I've always found interviews and stuff with Mark to be he's just very good with that stuff, and I like him.
Agreed. Yeah, Luke seems to be more like business, like mindseted. Like that's how he comes across.
Like
anyway,
big picture.
But big picture, yeah, that's what he's supposed to do. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And then Mark Noseworthy is kind of like his right hand. Get your hands dirty. You're in there day, like No Time said in chat. More like day to day.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so the first thing that he talks about is he's like, okay, so we can say what Destiny is now. What we don't have to cover ourselves and be scared of what this game is. It's an action MMO, you know, like they just come out and say we're going to lean into this direction. We know it comes with connotations, but we're not going to, like, we're going to call it what it is. And so they're saying it's always going to be a shooter, like the shooter that you know, and it feels great. They didn't say shooter, they said action, you know, game that you know. But we're going to also dive in more into those sort of MMO kind of stuff. And that comes with the connotation of being a like subscription, but he said that's not what we're going to do. We're going to, and he announced several things basically. One was they're going to have well, I'm trying to remember which one he mentioned first, and it doesn't really matter for the conversation, but basically like all of Destiny base game is becoming free to play. Year one stuff is like the base game that's going to be, anyone can have it for any platform. There's going to be cross save between all the platforms, and then the game's going to become modular, where if you want a particular expansion, you buy that expansion for your platform, and then you can play most of the activities without it.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Up to Forsaken, you can do anything. Starting with Forsaken, correct me if I'm wrong on this, all the areas and stuff are free still.
That was the part that really surprised me. He came out and said all destinations, you can go to any of them. You just can't
like
do
public
quests.
Right, you can do the public events there. You can do any of that kind of stuff. Just to get the raids
as well.
I think I think Strikes and Crucible, because they mentioned like Crucible, Strikes, and Gambit, you can do all of that, which Gambit used to be limited to Forsaken only, and now it's not. It's a part of, basically I think this is their mindset, and you can correct me if you think that it's not, but they emphasize at the very beginning, we want it to be that community aspect of the game, and we want you to be able to just free to play. You jump in and try it out, play with your friends on any platform that you want, and you don't have this like limited, like I have to go do all this stuff, or I have to be this light level, or I have to have this DLC. You can just go and play Crucible, play you know, go to this destination, go do these strikes, you know, or even do the first raid, even up to the first raid, like all the raid and the raid layers for the Leviathan. You can do all that. So
I
pretty,
think they said,
pretty cool.
I think they said something around the lines of, I don't want to, like a new player says, oh, I have to play like
40 hours.
40 hours worth of content before I can play with you. Screw that. I'm going to go play something else.
And the other person's like, well, I'm not going to play all that with you because I've already done it, and that's 40 hours. And I mean, they're obviously right to a point, and really the only way to get around this was making it free to play, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
and that's another one. I don't know if they mentioned it, but that clearly comes with the break from Activision, right? Like,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of this does, like, a lot of it just reeks of like independence, you know what I mean? Like finally like breaking free, like one step at a time, like, and plus like having the base game free to play makes it so, like just so much like more of a seamless transition into the newer content of not like you got to get this, then you got to buy this, and you got to buy that, or you could just buy the collectors. And
now,
it's, you know,
I can't remember. I remember thinking this and then getting my answer. Now I forget. When you start with this, which by the way, it's coming out in September. It's called Destiny New Light. It's kind of the new entry point, they're calling it. Does that include D1?
No,
it's just the opening.
Okay. Just the opening scene. You get woken up. You do the first mission.
They basically remastered the opening scene of Destiny in the first mission.
Yeah.
I almost want to like
delete a character.
No, because you'd have to be a completely new account. I have my Hanzo main 309 account. That was my Smurf account for Overwatch. And I want to do the free, because you need to be like a new Guardian, new Light, or whatever.
You know what you can do? You can make a free PC character whenever you want.
We could just do it on PlayStation, and whatever profiles you have on your PlayStation shares your PlayStation Plus and all that stuff. So you could just make a whole new account. Just go make an email, or if you have an email, make another account, log in, and then you could experience that mission. Because I don't think we're going to, as veteran players, I don't think we're going to have an option to.
Yeah,
I wouldn't see why you would.
But
not like why you would want to, why they would give it to you, I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. It would just be, there's easier ways, there's quicker ways around it than them making it accessible to us. Just go make another account, experience it, hear Dinklebot, and yeah.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
I'm sure they redid.
I'm sure it's Nolan, yeah.
That's what Marcus said. But then I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point of voice actors anymore? Like, is Nolan North Shaxx now when he leaves? Are they gonna have Nolan North Saladin? Like, what's the point of fucking voice actors?
Didn't he redo all of them?
He did
already, like in D1.
Yes,
when he took
did.
Over.
Yeah. Which, speaking of voice actors, and what's the point? We do have a returning voice actress, Morla, coming back for Eris, which is really cool that they kept the same actress. But before we get to that, real quick, there was a really interesting thing that you all were talking about just now with the complaint of, you know, I want to jump to this game, but it's all these hours of stuff that I don't understand, and my friends won't play it with me, and it's just so complicated. And I was talking with my wife actually yesterday. We were driving home and we were talking about the big announcement, and I had a friend who played other games but not Destiny that we had just had dinner with, and she asked me, she was like, why don't, it was a really good question, because it's kind of the dilemma that Bungie faces. And it was like, oh my gosh, she's got dessert already. Wilson, no, is that strawberry cheesecake or something?
Is motherfucking strawberry shortcake with the
shortcake.
Oh, she even put dollops of whipped cream all around it.
Yeah, dude, she dolloped it. Look at that.
Man.
In yo's, hove. In yo's.
Okay, so the question that Bethany asked me was, she was like, well, why don't more people play? Like, why don't people try out Destiny from Bungie? Like, why do they stay away from it? Is that bad connotation? Is it hard to start? And I was like, it's kind of all those things. Like, it has a bad reputation sometimes and a good reputation, but it also is just really difficult to get into. It's hard to like tell someone how to start it because there's so much and it's so dense. But this new light thing really makes it easy. And the way that they explain it too, like where you get that first cutscene, it kind of seamlessly puts you in as a random guardian, like you're starting an MMO basically. And you wake up, you go to the tower, and you know, who knows, like you may have completely missed Gaul's attack. You're just a new guardian. You know, you could choose not to play that storyline and, you know, just continue on with your friends. And I think that is such a great solution to the problem that Bungie's facing of how difficult Destiny is to get into. I just thought it was really cool to think about that whole dilemma, and that the fact that my wife asked me yesterday about this problem and then Bungie answered it today. Like, here,
another thing
this is a solution.
That's cool with that, and it goes to what you were saying about them making it more modular. And I don't think they were really clear on this, because they talked about that very much. You know, modular, you can pick up each expansion or whatever. But there was a point where Luke Smith mentioned how much they learned from the annual pass, and how he said something like, and the next time we'll do it like there was gonna be an annual pass again at some point. It was weird. I don't know. But either way, so that would also allow you to say you're not a lore person and you hate Gambit. You could have just skipped Season of the Drifter. Just, I don't want to pay for it. I don't really like Gambit, and just not play it. But then when Season of Opulence comes out, jump right back in like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Oh, that is something we should talk on real quick. With the schedule of like paying for things, you will now pay for seasons, it sounds like. Like, seasonal content won't be free. Like, maybe, yeah, game world updates will. Like, if there's a new destination, you can go to it and probably play new Crucible maps and stuff, but the rewards are probably locked out. The way that you would play Apex for a season and you pay to get the seasonal pass that lets you get the extra weapon skins and stuff, it'll be that way for Destiny. I'm assuming the way that they talk about it, that's what it seems like.
Okay, well, KB Ninja said in chat there's still an annual pass too, so I'm guessing that you can. It gives you the option, if you know you're going to buy all of them, you can buy all of them at once. I guess that's how they're going about that.
Which makes sense, and I'm totally like, that's what I'll probably end up doing. Which kind of leads us to the other announcement, which, Hove, I think you had a lot to say about this since you already placed a pre-order, I think. But it's coming out for the new Google system, Stadia, and it kind of, Hove, you had a theory on the announcement of the timing of all of this and everything. It's pretty interesting.
Well, I didn't know at first, and I actually don't think I found out till last night that Stadia's announcement was an hour before Bungie's. Okay. But we kind of, and it's already done this, we kind of thought, why are they announcing September stuff 2 days after a really hyped release, right? Like, you're kind of cannibalizing your own hype. And as you can see, not that we're not hyped, but we definitely we just got all this new shit, and we talked about it for a quarter of the time we're going to talk about.
They could have spaced it out.
Yeah, so everyone kind of thought that was weird. And then when I found that out, and you started hearing the leaks about cross-save and it being available for Stadia, I thought that they had something to do with it. That Bungie was like, well, if they're going to announce that Destiny's going to be available and that cross-save's available, like, we have to say something too.
Yeah.
And then after the announcement, it makes even more sense, because it turns out that they've now partnered with Google. And part of the Founders Edition, which is the pre-order edition of Google Stadia, it comes with the Destiny 2 new light. It comes with everything. All of Destiny 2. Everything. So,
Forsaken, and even the new with Shadowkeep.
Yeah.
I think.
I believe so.
And future, if you get the like main thing, like the Founders thing, I think it pays, because you pay an annual $10 a month thing, and with that you get any new Destiny stuff. Like, it'll continually give you. Well,
there's two tiers on Stadia. We'll get to that.
There's two tiers. Yeah.
But that made even more sense, because, like, obviously Bungie's a big company, right? Like, they're cool, they're popular, they're big, but like, when Google is your partner and Google's like, hey, I know you guys haven't announced this, but like, we're doing this on Thursday. Bungie can't be like, well, why don't you just hold on? Like, we have to announce it first. Google was like, we're Google. Like, here's what we're doing. Do what you want. So Bungie had to do this announcement today, right?
Yes.
Like, so I definitely think Google forced their hand, not maliciously.
No, and it's interesting too that they're not publishing Bungie; they're just in a partnership with them. So it's not like they have control over any content or anything. It was just this decision in particular, because Google was announcing something. They just had to make it happen right now. What also, we shouldn't like bypass the fact that Google is Google and is like one of the most massive companies in the world and is partnering with Bungie. That's insane.
Right.
You know?
Skynet.
And another point of this, No Time said in chat, and I agree with this, I was kind of getting to that, no one would ever say, and I couldn't prove it, but I think the Stadia announcement in partnership was to strong-arm Sony. I mean, who's going to say no to Google, honestly? And he said in part.
For real.
I agree with that to a point.
Know.
I don't know that it was done to strong-arm Sony.
But it played a part.
Absolutely, because if you... for the rumors that I've heard, and they hinted at it in the interview, all the leaks were that cross-save was going to be across all platforms except PS4. No one was sure, right?
Yes.
And then the rumors now are that Sony just agreed to that like last night or this morning, which makes total sense because when they were announcing that, Mark and Luke made some kind of joke about that's why we do these things live because things change.
Right.
So
yeah, and it was really interesting.
You knew
too,
it was a matter of time. Sorry, just to finish that thought, because Google's going to come out and throw all this money at this thing. Destiny 2, they're making into this, all these changes is going to be this big game, and every other platform, including this new one, is going to say, yeah, cross-save, and Sony's going to go, nah. Like, the bad pub from that would be bad.
It'd be bad, yeah. And so I'm totally with you. I think that is one of the reasons that it was really interesting watching online. Everybody complained so much, like Sony like you saw a hint of what that reaction to Sony could have looked like, you know, and now that everything went the right way, you're like, okay, like this makes sense, you know. And it was Jason Schreier, I think. Schreier, yeah, who was posting all the stuff about like last night there was a Bungie Sony meeting and they sealed the deal on this like as of yesterday, which is crazy that it happened so fast and goes to what you were saying about doing it live. It's just nuts.
But
that's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited for cross save, man. Like,
dude,
I can't wait. I cannot wait to jump on PC, play with my PC friends, and take the loot that I just got the night before from my console friends. And dude, it's gonna be great. Like my buddy Jimmy, you know, I haven't played with Jimmy or my friend Jimmy in forever, dude. Like Jimmy Pike HK, and he's on PC, and like we talk about all the time in Discord, you know. I'm like, dude, I need to come back at some point in time just to play with you. And I was like, but man, the grind, like, you know, and now there's like literally zero excuse. Like I can come over, I can play.
I mean, clan wise, I mean, that's good. It's game changing.
Play
for
with
the
Briar
clan.
now again when he
when he tweeted like cross saves coming or something, I replied to him. I said, "Sweetie, swootie, I'm coming for that booty."
Hell yeah. It's gonna be a good time, man. Like it just opens up a lot of avenues for players. Like if it's truly supposed to be a community-driven game, you know, I feel like this is a really good step.
And
in
that's
the right
their thing.
direction.
And I know, you know, talk is cheap. Hindsight's 20/20. We don't know the whole story, but that's kind of another thing that they hinted at, that they've always, that's been their thing. One of their keystones is bringing people together, and they weren't able to do that without cross save and because of other restrictions that they had that, presumably, by their hints, were at least in part due to Activision's doing, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at our own clan, like Rezo, like No Time was talking about it. Like, you know, we've been split since D2 came out for PC. We have a ton of people because of 60 frames, the graphics, it plays great on PC. There's field of view options and stuff. And then there are people who just can't afford to get a PC right now, or they're just in a spot where they don't, or they have all this gear on PS4. And now if you have, like, I have access to play on PC, but I don't all the time because it's just a pain to set up. But if I have my Rezo friends that I want to go play with, I can boot it up, have all my progress. I don't have to do this crazy grind to go and play with my friends. It's exactly what you said. It's like, like Wilson was saying, it opens up the opportunity to do so much more with your community.
I do think one thing that's important that I don't know that they mentioned, but I feel like this is, I mean, obvious. You know, you would still have to purchase it on both platforms, though. One purchase.
Well, depending on what you wanted to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Anything that isn't free, if you have to buy it for one, it doesn't unlock it for every other one. You would have to buy it for that one.
I'm totally okay with that. People got to get paid on platforms.
Right, no, it's not a bad thing. I just want to make it clear,
Yeah, no, and I'm just kind of like stating my side of it 100%. Like, you can't just have this like platform that you got to like maintain and cost money and not expect people to like pay and be there. So like, if that's what I got to do, if that's the entry price, like I pre-ordered the Legendary PlayStation Edition because all my other Legendary sets are PlayStation, and I own every physical collector's edition that they've put out for Destiny. So like, I'm committed at this point to the end of the franchise of all the collector's editions. But it was totally worth it. It was cool. I'm excited. Like, there's so much shit to do. I was actually going to take on WoW Classic in September.
Oh.
No, you're not.
Not going to happen.
Not anymore.
Nope.
Not anymore. Ain't gonna have time for that shit.
Hey, there's some really interesting questions with this, though, because we know we're going to have to buy stuff for different platforms. But, Hove, you bring up a good point as to what you'll be locked out on, not only activity-wise, but also because I think you could just log on to the other account and go play comp with your friends, or, you know, just Crucible or whatever. But what happens to all your weapons that were, you know, a part of, like, say, Forsaken on console, but you don't have Forsaken, you just have First Light on PC? Like, can you use those weapons? Are they locked? Like, how does that work?
Actually,
and so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that, and they haven't really said yet, because obviously you wouldn't be able to go do those activities, but you've earned weapons from those activities. So how does that work? I'm just curious how that'll be.
Let the waves settle, and I'm sure they'll elaborate on it. They just made a big splash right now, so like everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And like we all have a billion questions, and I'm sure we'll get most of those answered within time.
Yeah.
There is some information on Bungie.net on like the process of like choosing what account like you want to be your main.
I just put in chat one of the devs tweeting how that's going to work. There's no merging. You basically just, there's going to be an issue at the a screen at the beginning where you say which account you want, and it's just going to put that shit on all of your PC account, your whatever accounts you have. Who was it that was not Briar, but I think Watts was like, how do I choose what account I want to keep? Like, you know, because that's gonna be tough.
She puts a lot of time into both,
right?
Like, I mean, the girl streams every day, and it's like console PC. Some days both. Like, if she's, you know, an activity was fun that she got, you know, you get rewarded for,
right?
Then you want to go do it again on PC. Like, it's cool. I'm just really digging like the seamless transition of, okay guys, like that was an awesome raid, that was a lot of fun, thanks for the you know, the loot, but like I gotta go play, you know, comp or whatever on PC with some friends, you know, like it'd just be really cool to be able to do that.
Or imagine this, you no, for a streamer, you're like, you've got different audiences on different consoles, you know, and it's frustrating to go between the two. And so you're on PC, you do a raid with someone, you get 1,000 voices, you've never got it before, you're like, I want to use this, but in an hour I'm planning to switch to Xbox and play with my Xbox crowd. And so you just turn up your Xbox, you jump on with your community for Xbox, and you got your 1,000 voices there to use with that community, and you can try it out. It's like you just picked up right where you left off.
I mean, the scenarios are endless. Like, use your imagination. You know what I mean? Like,
did we talk about? No, I was saying, I know we talked about it, but I can't remember if it was on stream or pre-stream. Did we talk about the fact that it's going to be on Steam instead of BNet now?
No, I hadn't mentioned that.
No, we talked about it before. Remember, because I was talking about
that's, I mean, I knew we talked about it. I just couldn't remember if it was live.
My buddy Conman has not been paying attention to any of this, and he's like, it could come out on Steam today, just randomly. And then like hours later, I was getting cliff notes from Marcus as to what was happening, and I was like, holy shit, dude, you were right. Like, it's which is awesome. Steam's an amazing platform. Like, it's good. You know, I really dig Steam.
And the less launchers and shit I have, the better.
Dude, I know. Like, I already, if I have games from other launchers and platforms, if it'll work, I'll put that game in my Steam library. You can do that just because I like it. I'm getting old. I'm becoming an old man. I want my shit in one spot. All right? I don't want to be like, oh, fuck, I got to open this launcher and that one. But, like, yeah, just convenience.
To finish up the cross-save and Stadia conversation, there is, if you go to Stadia's website, like just their main website, Destiny is all over, like every
That's like
single
their
thing.
Big thing. Like, they went all in with Bungie. Like,
yeah,
that's impressive.
Which is crazy, and what concerns me is Destiny is very, not for every activity, but me and Hove went back and forth on this a little bit. But for like if you're into Crucible, you know, the population is such a big factor in like how fast you find games, what your opponents are like. And if you're playing on Stadia, like what is that population going to look like? And it probably won't mingle with PC. It's probably going to be its own thing because Stadia has to build games for its own platform, just like a console. You know, what's that going to be like? What are the specs graphics going to be like compared to console versus PC? It says it's going to be 60 frames, which is already huge. Like if you are debating, like if you don't have, I don't know, like a PS4 Pro and you were thinking about getting one, and instead you could buy this Stadia for $120 and you get 60 frames a second, Destiny 2, like that's pretty nuts. Like that would be pretty awesome.
Possible tip, and I know it was just an example, but if you are out there thinking about getting a PS4 Pro right now, might want to wait to see what's announced this weekend. We might get some details on some PS5, and you know, you never know. I mean, it probably won't be till fucking Christmas, and it'll probably be like extremely overpriced at the beginning. But like, I have a launch day PS4.
I did.
Still ticking, and like, of course I did.
Well, very close to
ticking.
Till Spider-Man,
It'll randomly eject the disc sometimes, and it does some kind of fucked up shit sometimes. But like, dude, if I can just make it to if I can make it till Christmas, if that's when it comes out. But like, I got kind of sidetracked there. But something I really took away from some of the news today was the changes that they were going to make to armor.
Well, before we move to that
before
stuff,
we get to that, because that's
let's finish like the cross-save Stadia, like because I do want to talk about Stadia quickly.
And I want to talk about the stuff Wilson's talking about too.
Yeah, so do I, absolutely.
For those who don't know, what is Stadia, Hove?
So Google is
let's get that sponsorship.
Building.
Come on.
Listen, I have pre-ordered like every Google like Pixel 1, Pixel 2, Pixel 3.
Oh, you're a big Android user, right?
Yeah, I already pre-ordered Stadia. Like I got the email that was like, new Stadia, pre-order now, like 3 hours after I pre-ordered. Like, I'm completely serious.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be another email like, thanks for your order. No, it was like, check this out. I was like, yeah.
The announcement.
I know. But basically, they're building a platform that the only requirement is basically a Chrome browser and internet connection, right?
Yeah, and not a very great internet connection. No, apparently, like you don't.
But
have
I was talking about the future of gaming.
Exactly,
like it's gonna be you're gonna be able to just have a potato, and it's all gonna be held fucking server side.
From what I understand, though, now I know we all have this internet, but you know, I don't live in a very rural area by any means. But you know, with studies and stuff, apparently there are still hundreds of millions of Americans that don't have.
Oh, for sure.
Great internet that could do this. But I mean, check it out on the Google store if you want the exact specs. I think it's like 10 megs for 1080 and 60.
Yeah, it's crazy
60
low.
FPS. Like it's not real high.
You can do it on your cellular service, like not even, you know, just on your 4G.
So, the pre-order comes with the Stadia controller, a Chromecast Ultra, because you can use that to play on any TV. You just fucking plug that shit in, connect to Wi-Fi, and go. Everything is streamed from Google's side. They're running all the hardware. There is no hardware to it, well, except the controller. It's not a console.
God, I'm so tempted to get this right now.
Listen, like Country said to me on Twitter, for $130, like it's worth the shot, right? Because, and I'll be completely honest, I don't think it's going to come out and be a game changer the second it comes out. It's going to have a low player base. It's going to have issues. The internet always has issues.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, at least in some capacity, you got to think it's the future of gaming, right? Like, you're getting rid of a PC, you're getting rid of a console. Man. You're just going to play on your... Like, right now, it's only going to be available on the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3a, which I'll be playing right there. Any laptop,
be on the toilet,
computer,
playing on his phone.
Yeah, and it's not like... And the thing I said to Lego is I don't even know how much the quality, to a point, will matter, because the mobile gaming industry right now is worth billions. And what? 99 out of 100 mobile games are absolute shit. Like, mobile games are bad.
Pokemon Go is fucking an American treasure.
Okay,
all right?
Well,
shut your mouth.
That's your 1 out of 100. But either way, it's
Fair
not
enough.
like a full it's not something that would impress you on a PC or a console, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be playing. I mean, picture what you play on Destiny 2 right now, and you'll be able to play that on your laptop, on your TV with a Chromecast, on your phone, anywhere with an internet
Without
connection.
lag too,
Without
it's supposedly
lag. Yeah.
you know, because right now you can. So what's interesting about this is I play a lot of G4 because I can't play PUBG on a PC. I have a Mac, and it's pretty good most of the time. But if I try to play Destiny, there's like a little bit of weird lag. And if Google is going all in and making Destiny their game to promote this platform on, that's saying something, you know, like that's telling me they're pretty confident in how solid it feels. So
They got the money to throw at it.
And
Yes,
just
I mean,
continue
that's the
throwing
thing.
at it.
That's
Yes.
like Google, like, so that's kind of what I was hinting at a long time ago, that like computer prices, they'll plateau at some point. They're already kind of starting to, but I don't think you're ever going to see like high-end PCs become like, because you know, like new things come out, like
Yes.
automobiles, and it's a luxury. Now it's a necessity. Cell phones, luxury. You used to have to be an important motherfucker to have like a car phone or a cell phone or something like that back in the day, and now it's a necessity. I don't think it'll ever get to that point with computers per se, because I think it's easier to get good stuff running on low-end hardware, and that's the future, and host everything server side. It's easier to push something as simple as the, what is it, Stadia? Is that what it's called?
Stadia, yeah.
It's easier to push that than to say, oh, you got to get this PC with all these parts. Oh, and guess what? It's a community that's constantly like upgrading and being like, why
Right.
don't you upgrade this? Why don't you upgrade that?
Yes,
Like,
it's
oh, it's
intimidating.
never enough. It's this
Yeah.
hole. It's this void that I'm constantly fucking filling. I need more RAM. I need solid state drives. I need M.2s, you know, like all this different stuff. And I feel like it's so much easier to get that kind of technology in people's hands and just fucking stream it.
Yeah.
You'll get and it'll take time to like take off, like, and it's a good thing that Google's doing it first, because if some other company that didn't have like the amount of money that Google has, they'd probably fucking flop, and then everyone would be like, oh, it's a fucking failure, you know what I mean? Like,
And Google could, but the fact that they're coupling with Destiny, like that has such a strong player base already and is looking for ways to connect with each other, like PC crowd and stuff, which makes me really wish that Stadia connected to the PC player base, because that would, like, hands down, I would like pre-order right now. Like now I'm getting to the point where I'm really convinced I want to do it, but like that would be a no-brainer, absolutely, for any console player.
and like,
So
you're not
which
gonna
is
have
close
to
because
upgrade.
60 frames, and like you were saying, the hardware keeps improving and you get that. So I'm guessing that Destiny's gonna look great, if not the quality of PC close to it, you know.
They're gonna be doing all the upgrading for you server side. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, like, you get your shit, and I mean, like, maybe there'll be like a newer version that comes out or whatever, but it's not gonna be like a $600-700 price tag every 4-5 years or whatever the fuck the console rebirth rate is at this point.
Are you talking about like a newer Stadia?
Yeah,
Because
that's
here's
what
the
I'm
thing:
saying.
there's nothing other than the controller. There's nothing
That's
to
what I'm
purchase.
saying. It's your connection to them, you know, and
Yeah.
all their hardware runs it and stuff. Like, it's actually really genius. So
And-
We're
and
selling me on it right
couple
now,
other
like
big
with this
things.
conversation.
They said, I looked at it. It's 10 megs for 720p 60.
Jeez.
Up to 35 megs gets you 4K. And they said they have an algorithm which, you know, Google and algorithms, like, that's where they made their money, their search algorithm. So I'll trust them on that one.
yeah,
That will alter it as you go. So like even at 10, as things fluctuate, you could get your 1080p or higher. Like they said, it's not like a hard thing. It's not like when you hit 15, you get 1080p. It'll do it for you.
You know how we were dreaming about like situations to use crossplay and stuff? Imagine situations you like streamers could use Stadia if it integrated into your Chrome browser and whatever camera you have, like on your phone or laptop or whatever, and they integrated streaming services into the platform to where like you're in an airplane and you could still be streaming your game like before takeoff, like, and have your face cam active through your phone, stuff like that, you know.
Oh,
like
God.
that
I don't
could be
even want to think
possible.
about that, because then you'll see people everywhere stream. No.
Oh, you already do.
I know.
People
you
do
already
that
the
anyway, though. That's what I'm
vloggers
saying.
and
It makes
IRL and
streamers.
Two other
shouldn't
points
say
real
it
quick.
like that. Like it's a bad thing.
Gorniak said in chat, also 5G's coming, and I don't know if you've seen any of the speeds, the projected speeds of 5G.
I haven't. No.
I mean, hundreds.
It's
of
like
megs.
cable. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That's
Yeah, God
figured.
knows what else with it. But anyway,
what is your
Yeah,
problem?
cancer.
yeah,
Oh,
fuck
God.
5G, dude.
Phones are giving us
Jeez.
all cancer.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think gets looked over in the hype of the new thing Stadia does and the requirements and everything, there's no download or wait time for anything because everything's on Google's side. So if this new game comes out at midnight, you just fire it up at midnight and start playing. You don't have to download the game. You don't have to wait for a game to install.
No download times.
There's nothing.
That's what. So I've experienced some of that with GeForce Now, because whenever we'd play PUBG, I wouldn't have to download anything. Like y'all would be like, "Oh, there's an update." I'm like, "Oh," like it was just already ready to go all the time. So definitely had experience with that, and it is really nice for that to happen. I feel like we could, because there's so many endless possibilities for all this stuff, and it's so much at once. I feel like we should move on to Shadowkeep before, because there's other stuff we had Datto on the stream, and we had the stuff Wilson was talking about with the armor mods and behind the scenes stuff. But before we get to any of that, they showed the Shadowkeep trailer first. So that was the very first thing. So let's dive into that a little bit, because Wilson, you're muted, and the Shadowkeep trailer looked incredible. Like,
where are we going?
I actually got chills, man. Going to the moon, man.
Going back to the moon. It was really cool that the dude was wearing the shirt that said that wizard came from the moon.
Yeah.
That was really dope. The moon's great, and it looks different. It looks like there's some shit been going on because we haven't been there for a long time. But it's funny. She's like, we haven't been to the moon and I instantly quoted the live action trailer of Dinklage going, humans haven't been on the moon in hundreds of years, and like I kind of like cut her off as she was saying it. I was like, hundreds of years, like. But no, it's great. There's a lot of like crazy hive shit going on there. Of course, it's the moon. It looks amazing. It looks like seeing the moon in D2 graphics compared to D1, even on console. It looks so good, so crisp, like such a clean world. But I'm excited to go back because that was actually one of my favorite areas, was the moon. I like how you had like topside, then like the cavernous areas and stuff like that. It was really cool. Like made you like really feel like you were going down inside the moon, and so it's awesome. The moon was a great location. Can't wait to go back,
dude. And also, I didn't really care. Like everyone was super hyped for the potential of Eris Morn coming back before trailer even dropped, and I wasn't as like, I would be like, yeah, that'd be cool, but and I wonder where she is and everything, but I wasn't super hyped. But hearing her voice and like having all the dark hive theme, and then on top of that, the announcement that expansion was going to be kind of like mess with your mind kind of thing, the kind of way that like Eris's mind is messed with, and having her voice over everything, like
they said psychological
you're going
scares.
to know my psychological scares. Yeah,
dude,
and that's
she had
like
some great lines, dude, in that Vidoc, dude. Those lines, some of them gave me goosebumps because she had like the motion cap suit
absolutely
on. It was like, you got to get into it, you know what I mean? Like that's why it's called voice acting, you know what I mean? Like,
for real.
Well, no, you can't just like convey like all this emotion by like sitting back in your chair and like chilling. Like you got to get into it, like it's really happening and stuff. And like she's very clearly passionate, and she was also a phenomenal guest on DCP. Like took the time to answer all the questions on Twitter that they didn't have time to ask on air. And but it's really cool. Like dude, a lot of like, say what you want, dude, about Eris Morn, but like honestly, she's one of my favorite NPCs in the game because
absolutely
and I hate to say this too, but like when you make like first thing you do, like when you make a Dungeons and Dragons character, or at least I do, is you set their ideals, flaws, traits, and bonds. And I feel like all of those are so intertwined to this just like crazy hatred for the hive. Like she sticks to her bonds, you know what I mean? Like everything's all about like hive, Zavala's all about the wall and the city and things like that. But like hers was super interesting. Like she doesn't have a fucking ghost. Like she's literally down to one life. Like it's Mario Brothers. You've got one life left. Like
jeez, that's intense.
And like she lost her eyes down there and had to take like hive eyes and like had to like blend in, like smell like them and stuff. And Like her ship was even like all hived out and stuff. But like
Right.
it's really cool because I think Cabal are cool, the Fallen are relatable, but like the Hive, in my opinion, are the most, when I think of like a terrifying Destiny enemy, like as far as like the lore is concerned and what the fuck they're up to on multi-dimensional levels, like dude, the Hive is the threat. You know what I mean? Like there's only so many Cabal out there and they're all in one dimension.
I think
like,
the Vex are up there.
The Vex are up there
in a different way. In
yeah,
like
absolutely.
He's right. He's right.
Way.
If they're like keepers of time and shit, they're almost like kind of like, I don't want to say the polar opposite of the Hive. It's almost like the Hive on a machinist level.
Yeah, like
kind of.
Yeah.
They're almost super similar in a way. They're just it's really cool. I can't wait to go to
like
the
they
back
can
to the
kind
moon
of
and fuck
create
some
their
shit
own
up,
realms and realities, but they're like the Hive are like this ravenous, almost like it's almost like emotion versus logic, right? Like
yes, 100%.
The Vex are very
like that.
This is just how it works. Like this is what we're going to do because this is the way it should be. Whereas the Hive are like very like.
It's almost like faith and logic would be what I would say, because they're kind of like religious almost. And not saying the Vex aren't, because they mimic the Hive sometimes.
Yeah, but they're definitely the most interesting in that sense to me. Now, my question, they mentioned during the story thing, I forget which guy it was, but Datto had been asking about different characters, what stories we were going to have. And he said something about, his answer was something along the lines of, there's a character that does a lot of crazy shit in this that's going to really surprise you. He was like, I can't tell you who it is or what anything, because that's a huge spoiler, but it's one of my favorite characters, and this character has a really big part. Who do you think it's going to be?
Toland,
it can't be
the
Eris.
Motherfucking Shattered.
No, they said it's a new character.
Oh,
though.
new?
Did they?
That's I thought it was. They were saying it's new because Datto specifically asked new.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then it's not Toland, the motherfucking Shattered.
You could still. We've never actually met him. Dude, he could still be a new character.
Marasov met him, and apparently she terrified the hell out of him in like the lore or something like that. And she created her own Ascendant Realm or something. I don't know, dude. It's so wild. But like, it's. If it's a new character, like, is it new, like, never been introduced to the lore, or is it new in a sense that, like, it's new, like, we're meeting them for the first time?
Exactly.
Context is important.
Right, because it could be Toland in that case.
That's what I meant.
Could be pulling a fucking Deej on us and just be like, wording, here, go play, dissect this sentence and see what you can get
I don't
out of
think
it,
so, though, because not like, I don't mean this in a negative way, but, like, these were devs. These weren't people that, like, their job is to be wordsmiths.
But they do know what they're allowed to and not talk about before they go in there, and I'm sure you can't just be like, I can't talk about that. Like, you have to have interesting ways to like give an answer but not give an answer that leaves so much to the imagination, you know what I mean? And they don't want just yes, no, we can't tell you answers. Like,
right, I just don't think it was like playing a game. I think that was him honestly saying, there's a character that's really awesome, and that's all I can tell you.
I think there's a bit of theatrics involved. That's all. I think what they're saying is true, but I think they want to leave so much to speculation because it generates hype.
Do you see Bot in chat saying that he thinks it could be the Stranger because we first met her on the moon?
Oh, was it? It was the moon.
No.
Yeah, it was right before we awoke in the hive.
We met her.
We saw her standing.
We saw her on the moon,
and then we turned around and she was gone.
Yeah.
It was when we were introduced, like not like formally.
Yeah.
I was doing quotations when I was.
But I don't know. Not that we've seen her again, but we already know who she is and everything, right? Like,
it's kind of been confirmed, right? That it's Anna's sister,
Elsie Bray, right? Is that her name?
Like, that makes sense because like Braytech was all about doing exo-esque shit.
Yeah. Well, we're kind of getting off on what could be, but because we're here, so Shadowkeep, we got the moon, we got Eris for sure, and we got Crota, Gaul, Skullless, all
were they
coming
called?
back as
Nightmare Phantoms?
Yeah, Nightmares.
Dude, okay, go back, watch the Vidoc. The very last, what am I trying to say here? The very last time they show Crota, there's 3 apparitions floating in the air that look like they're like lifeless puppets. And I'm telling you, left to right, Warlock, Titan, Hunter. Like,
really?
Those are fucking Guardians, 100%.
I think it goes back to it almost and shows that it's Gaul, Skolas, and...
No. These are tiny in comparison to Crota.
I just thought, to me, it looked like they were further away, and then they come closer.
Okay, maybe that is what it is. I don't know. I think it would be really cool. Not necessarily to finally,
that would be
like,
cool too.
Not necessarily like finally fight Guardians or whatever, because like, how would you work that in, like, unless they weren't like of their own will? But it would be cool to find some like perverted, twisted form of them.
That would be
like,
cool.
They got a hold of like their essence of like, because a lot of fucking Guardians got killed, and I think it was called the Great Disaster, was the war on the moon where we first like discovered Crota.
And Crota just slayed everyone.
I mean, like, to put a picture to it, dude, like, yeah, imagine Crota on the surface of the moon just shitting on everyone in the patrol zone. You know what I mean?
Here's another thing, especially with the name Nightmares. I mean, they could technically be Guardians or anything, because I don't think that it's like, it's not actually Crota, right? Like, it's some sort of like remanifestation.
Well, they said that they're resurrecting, so could be something
there was resurrecting, but like, I think the way that they kind of made it almost seemed like it was a continuity. Like, why would we be fighting Crota in D2? So it's a Nightmare Phantom.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But Lego, they did say that, like, Eris Morn specifically said, like, they're resummoning Crota. Or I think it was Eris.
Resurrecting.
Resurrecting. Yeah.
Do you remember that whole, like, the whole Dark Below thing when you were trying to stop them, like getting the crystal and everything? Like, I very fondly remember that whole, like,
oh, because they were trying to resurrect.
Yeah, he wasn't around. They were trying to bring his essence back.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that was. I don't know. I just remember.
We didn't actually fight the real deal Crota, did we? Wasn't he still all like ascendanty and like green, glowy?
Well,
like
because
he still wasn't.
He never came out into the real world, right? We were in his.
That's
realm.
right.
Right.
We went into his throne world. That was his. Okay. The fucking hive, dude. They're like cockroaches, dude. They can like survive everything and come back. It's bullshit. I mean, they are kind of like. I mean,
so can the Fallen now, right? They can become whatchamacallits.
Well, that's the Scorn.
Yeah, but they were Fallen.
That's like voodoo.
Yeah. Or Taken. Voodoo. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
We do this a lot in Destiny.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
I like it though. I like all this stuff, and you know, I thought it was interesting that Datto asked them in the interview about. A real quick props to Datto for freaking asking all the tough questions. Like, holy crap!
I don't think Datto gets enough credit. Don't get me wrong. He has a great following and he's one of the bigger streamers. But like, I really appreciate everything. Like,
absolutely,
Datto's voice. I just got a notification that popped up. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep reveal trailer recommended on YouTube. Just popped up on my screen.
Oh yeah, Google is listening.
Yeah, right. And again, they're 2 hours behind, just like my email. But no, I don't think he gets enough credit. Like, yes, he'll admit it. He can be elitist sometimes in the way he wants things done. But I think in the last year or so, he's done a much better job of saying, like, listen, even though this is how I would want it, I realize that's not how everybody wants it.
And I think he's really good at that.
I think he's been a very good voice for the community, and I you know, not that he needs my validation, but I think Datto's done a really good job, and I appreciate what, you know, he does for the community.
Dude, and for this particular stream, for him to come and do this after the whole raid thing that happened, like,
did you see
that?
I thought it was funny. All the there were so many comments that were like, "What the fuck is Datto doing there? He needs to get a raid guide out. Datto, get off this fucking stream and put out a raid guide." And he tweeted afterwards something like,
be there,
maybe he said it in person, or maybe I saw a tweet, but he was like, "All right, I'm done with that. Thanks so much. I'm going to make a fucking raid guide now. I gotta go. Goodbye."
Yeah. I like how they asked him. They're like, "So you had a big week," and
he has to explain it, what it felt like. I was like, "Gosh, this is brutal."
That was cool.
Real quick, for those who don't know, Datto got second place in the raid. They mentioned it on stream, but he didn't make it by 6 minutes. What was it?
I think it was 6.
6 minutes, and it was like that's the closest second has ever come to first in a raid race. So pretty intense. And the only reason they got all their weapons to the exotic weapon to drop, which normally only happens to the person who gets first, but because they started their run when the last people were already on their run, that it didn't register that the other people had gotten their exotics already. So pretty great. That's the rumor anyway.
I think it might have also been, I think it's something that maybe is done server side manually.
I think so. That was my.
And I think they hadn't had time to verify the run because they said reports of World's First have come in, and they have to verify that.
They
so
always
you
do
go,
that, yeah.
Well, no, for sure. My point being, you can't be like, oh, someone beat it, disable X, Y, and Z, and then like before you confirm it. You know what I mean? You have to confirm it first and make sure there was no shenanigans involved. But to the point about Datto, he knows how to ask tough questions in a way that don't seem what's the word I'm looking for? Because anyone could just get up there and ask those questions or whatever. But there's a way that you can handle it with, like, I don't know, like grace and class, kind of. Like, you know, he's like, okay, I have to ask trials, like, you know,
that
I mean?
is interesting to me for two reasons. One, I do want to say, he also, to be fair, has a rapport with a lot of those people, right? Like,
for sure.
When Luke Smith came out, it was like, hey, bud, like they know each other. Datto's been out there.
Yeah, there's a comfort level there for sure.
But also, oh god, I'm sorry.
No, absolutely. Go, just go ahead.
I was saying,
kind of further your point.
The trials thing was interesting, because Lego and I talked about this, and he was like looking through his questions. He was like, oh, I don't know why I crossed this off, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Trials. Yeah. So, like, my thought, because I said to Lego, like, there's no way Datto looked at his questions and was like, well, I need to cut one. Nobody cares about trials. I guarantee you it was some sort of vetting process that Bungie either scratched it out or told him, like, hey, maybe avoid that. And so,
see, I don't think so, actually.
I think it had to be.
I think that was the setup, like,
it was the
punchline.
setup.
Yes, it was the segue. It was the segue to, like, look, you've been fucking clamoring about trials. We get it. We can't say anything. Just stay tuned. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I took it. Like, I felt like it was a layup, a slow pitch. Like,
agreed.
Hey, if you're having trouble bringing up trials or whatever, just bring it up this way, or let's make light or fun of it somehow. Like, not necessarily like fun of it, but like, you know, like, yeah, where the fuck is trials? Like, everyone's been.
And I don't think Datto's the person that, if Bungie told him not specifically to do that thing, that he would do that thing anyway. Because of all the reasons we've listed, but also because of things that
we've been told.
I won't say on stream. Yeah, I don't think that he would do that. So that's why I think it was.
It was a good thought, though.
I still think, like, I don't think it was you're not allowed to ask this, but I still think it was brought up. Like, hey, we don't really have an answer. Maybe he scratched out because they were like, hey, we're not gonna have an answer for you.
Yeah, that could be it. Like, Datto heard what they were gonna say, and he was like, maybe I won't ask this.
Luke kind of like laughed at like, oh, okay, like it's fine.
I like Luke's response too, because his response was, if you got a hard question, you should ask it. And then he did, and he's like, I'm actually glad you asked that. I would have been kind of upset if you didn't, you know?
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think he like defied anything. I didn't mean it that far, but I think he knew that they either didn't want to answer, didn't have an answer yet. But
maybe
he
that
knew that it needed to be asked.
Yeah. So great jobs to Datto. That was epic. It was awesome.
I've always liked Datto.
Same.
So, yeah.
So we pretty much talked about Shadowkeep. I'm trying to think if there's anything else specifically that expansion.
Armor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's next. Aside from Shadowkeep, because that might not. That was more like a peek behind the curtain.
True.
All this stuff is coming, and they talk about season 8 with the Crucible and how, you know, they haven't really talked about that. Oh, which is one thing with the interview that I wanted to bring up. Is them actually specifically saying, we realized that we tried to like hit specific parts of the Destiny community with these updates, and we realized we didn't do justice with the Crucible, and that was a mistake. Like, they actually verbally said it was a mistake to not, you know, put more like into the Crucible for the past year. And I think the community kind of needed to hear that. Like, it was nice. It was validation for like, man, this is our favorite part of the game, and in a year we haven't got anything. And they're like, hey, we're sorry about that, but we're going to do it in the future. And even the next season, they kind of almost practically said it's going to be Season of the Crucible.
Sometimes recognition gives people closure to the situation. In my opinion, I agree, Lego. I'm glad you touched on that because, yeah, that was a big takeaway of the entire thing for me. Was that like, yo, PvP, we get it, we love you guys, we got you. You know, like
now.
Yeah.
So
I will say it's important on that same vein, kind of, to note that they also it kind of goes with what they talked about with sandbox versus content too. Because Datto asked about, you know, we get one sandbox, like each season, big update. Are we going to get more? And they pretty much said, like, to boil it down, he did say this, but it was kind of a summary.
Yeah.
You know, we work to capacity, but we also don't want to be in crunch mode. We don't want to have people working long weekends.
Yeah.
Like, we want everyone to be happy here, which I hope that's all true. We've had enough talks about crunch. I hope the people at Bungie are happy. Which, it was funny, during one of the announcements when Luke and Mark were talking, you heard all of the people working at Bungie start cheering. That was cool.
Yes, that was awesome, yeah.
I think that was for cross-save. But anyway, basically what they said is, we understand, we would like to do that, but what you need to understand is if we make more sandbox adjustments, you're going to get less content. Because we do work to capacity. Like, we are doing all we can. Which I think also goes to what you were just talking about, which I completely forget. What was the last topic?
The Crucible or the Shadowkeep?
Crucible versus anything else. Like, if they would have, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying they shouldn't have, but if they would have done something Crucible in this annual pass, something else would have been left out. It's not like they had extra time that they didn't utilize. So it's
which for me would have been Black Armory. Like, I could have just done without
like I
that.
said,
Like,
that's whatever. But
It's a
like,
give and
I
take.
just think
They
that's
took
important.
risks.
Especially when the question was also asked, now that you don't have any Activision's like subsidiaries, Vicarious and High Moon, how do you...
Dude, that's something else.
They said...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, they said that they restructured their teams to kind of make up for that. But they also did say that they had to give some of their resources, being teams, to Google. Not that they're going to work there, but to get things ready for Stadia.
Interesting. Well, I just really quick, another shout out, because there's just so much that happened. But Vicarious Visions was the one who helped out do this last season of Opulence, and Bungie gave them a shout out, which I thought was really cool. You know, they're a part of Activision, and so there were a lot of people that like, man, Vicarious Visions killed it. Why doesn't Bungie just hire them? And they can't because they're Activision.
They're another
as far
company.
As we know.
Yeah, you can't just hire them all away. You'd have to buy the company.
And so, but they did do an incredible job, and so many people were like, "Geez, Menagerie," and they were the ones who did Escalation Protocol too, and so it was cool to see the escalation of Escalation Protocol into Menagerie, and it just be, you know, just whenever you just want to go on a Farfanugan and just chill. Like, that's your place, you know?
It's kind of like the evolution of Escalation Protocol. Like,
the escalation of Escalation.
Yes.
The evolution of Escalation.
Ooh, yeah.
But Vicarious Visions, lots of love. Great studio.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to give them a shout out real quick. And yeah, 100%. Crucible stuff. Let's hit that real quick because they mention Season 8, Crucible focus, and they mention Crucible Labs is returning.
I missed that.
Yes, Crucible Labs is returning, and during that moment, they go to the screen, show people in a one-on-one in an elimination 3v3.
Oh, is that
the
what
screen?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the screen itself, real quick, because I was like looking frame by frame. It's not the actual gameplay that they're commenting on, I don't think, because it shows a 4v4. Like, you can see 4 players on each team, but in the loading screen, you clearly see it load in 3 players versus 3 players. And in a different spot, it showed 3v3 too. And so it's like very clearly like it said elimination in all these like weird coding things. It said elimination on the bottom of the screen. And so,
stuff,
we know that that's probably coming in the Crucible Labs for Season 8, basically.
It's smart to put it in the Crucible Labs because you know, people are fucking hyped to play some Elim in D2.
On Widow's Court.
And that's what I was just gonna get to as well, on Widow's Court. But also, this is a perfect way to be like, okay, we've done our testing. Let's put it in the player base's hands and see what they break.
Yeah.
Let's see what they expose. Let's see what they exploit and fix it before we push out the final product. You know what I mean? And like that's what Crucible Labs like should be and could be. They don't have to necessarily tell us like this is coming. It's just, hey, this is an idea. We've tweaked it as much as we could. Go break it, do whatever you got to do, and then we can adjust and fix it. But yeah, it was on fucking Widow's Court, and it was really cool because when they showed the 3v3 elimination load-in screen, there was a lot of clips from like their in-house testing, and it was getting fucking sweaty, dude. Like everyone was into it. They're like, oh, you got a 1v1, he's coming, he's pushing it. And it's just us, like you listening, us talking. Like it was all like just bringing back like, it's cool to see them get into it as much as we used to get into it, is my point. Like, and it was just in like a playtest environment. But Widow's Court looked really cool. It looked like a lot of shit was like broken and then replaced by like Cabal structures.
Stuff. Yeah, that was cool.
Even though it's like the same shape in a lot of spots, I think it's just you're gonna notice maybe subtle differences in like lanes and things like that. Like certain maybe like overpopulated lanes will be toned down and there'll be like a new one or something. But I can't wait to play on that fucking map because that'll be fun.
My favorite map.
The 3v3 stuff, like, because I can't wait to experience that in Crucible Labs because we've done it ourselves doing private matches and it was so fun just doing like, you know, like we don't have elimination, but we just were like, okay, let's do the bomb, you know, and just not plan it and just play 3v3. And it was so much fun. And I cannot wait to try that out. And that's all I'm going to do that week. When Crucible Labs is out, I'm just going to play that. It's going to be so fun.
Widow's Court, I always had fond memories of that. That was the first, before I met any of you guys, way early on, before I was in Resolute, anything. I won my first ever, like, 2v3 trials. Not game, like, match. Or not, like, round. Full game. Like, our third got kicked immediately.
Dang.
And I went something like 25-3, and we lost. We won 5-3, and that was like the first. That was when I was super hyped. Like Trials was the shit, you know.
That was my first. Was that what was the medal called back then? It wasn't We Ran, right? It was Unbroken or something, right? For the 25-0.
Unbroken was just to finish a game 15-0, right?
Okay, there was one that was 20 or 25-0, and I got on Widow's Court playing with Fatebringer and Rally.
Re-ran.
It was re-ran? Okay.
Yeah, because they toned it down for D1, remember?
Right.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So I got my first trials we ran on Widow's Court with Fate and Rally. It was so great. So great.
I'm pretty sure we were playing Widow's Court the time that someone said something about Lego. I've never seen you so high. And we said, still not as high as Wilson. You remember that comment? We were playing private matches on Widow's Court.
No, it wasn't Lego going, I didn't know you could get, or Wilson, I didn't know you could get that high or something. And I was like, I'm always that high. Something
about Wilson.
Yeah, it just had to have been there. And it was just one of those, everyone's got those inside jokes, like Destiny moments from way back in the day.
I'm also pretty sure right at the top of the steps, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I tried to Nova Bomb Lego, and he Twilight Garrisoned out of the way, and then like,
yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. That was great.
I was like so happy I was going to kill Lego, and he completely embarrassed me. I think he actually like, I don't remember this exactly, but I swear you like apologized later, like because it was so bad. He was I swear I'm not even kidding. I swear he was like, my bad, man. Like, and I was like, that's fine. You beat me.
And have a good day, sir.
Yeah.
Oh,
day, sir.
I hope that guy has a really, really bad day. Wow, Lego. Savage
man.
You.
Well,
right.
I think we hit Crucible enough. I want to talk about what Wilson hit on earlier, the mod stuff and the armor, basically transmog stuff.
Basically,
like stuff, yeah.
Like, no, it totally is, because if you think about it, like, that is what transmog is. Take what you like the look of and the functionality of something else. Like, they're just not calling it a direct transmog of you have to get the armor with the perks you want and a piece of armor that you like the looks of. This is just completely like, get a piece of armor, start unlocking perks from getting other pieces of armor, and then just put those perks on what you want. So I can finally get enhanced hand cannon loader on my fucking gloves.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of enhanced, real quick, Hove, I know you have something to say, but it's been, well, this is data mine, so I don't know if I want to talk about it, but it's exciting enough that I'm going to anyway because I don't care. Iron Banner, the new season for this season, is going to have enhanced armor mods. Finally.
Hell yeah.
PvP in-game enhanced stuff.
Which is why I've been so hell-bent on getting my light up, because I'm not kidding, because I want to be prepared for Iron Banner for the sole purpose of I can play. Because I mean, like Dreaming City gets boring after a while. Like, so Crucible is what I can spend the most time in and still have fun. So it'll be cool doing something enjoyable while also hopefully getting a pair of hand cannon loader, sniper, scavenger, enhanced cannon loader, sniper, scavenger gloves, please.
Oh, what were you gonna say? Sorry, I interrupted you because I just got so excited about the enhanced stuff. But it's about the armor.
Excited
system.
About male enhancement. It's fine. I understand. 1 in 3 men.
You totally say natural. Male enhancement?
It's totally natural.
Yeah, it's totally fine. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Just
sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack with our wiki leaks here. I just wanted to.
No, you're fine.
What were we talking about again?
The enhancements, the armor enhancements. So
so they talked about like as you get down to the last perk. I don't think he really went real in depth, but he was saying like the perks that you can get when you get to this part, that last node, are I think he said like very close to what you would get from exotics.
Yeah. I think that was something else though, because that was
it?
I think that was something else, because
I don't think so.
No, it was because they showed a piece of armor and it's an actual mod slot where you go down where you'd apply like the shader and stuff, and that thing was called like the Eye of the Gate Lord or something.
It was like a piece. It was like the Chalice.
Well, no. So that's what I'm saying. Armor 2.0.
That's what I think it is.
No. Armor 2.0. I think that was it. Like instead of perks that say intellect, discipline, like D1, or even now resilience or whatever. Instead, they are all mod slots.
All the perks are just interchangeable.
All the perks are mod. That makes sense.
And you dismantle one, and you get all that stuff, and you can apply it to whatever you want. Is what I'm guessing. Something like that.
So they're trying to like add continuity by making it like a Vex-like item, like you're pulling it from like time and space or something like that. Is that,
or it's like parts actually, like like assembling a weapon, you got all the parts, you dismantle it, you get the parts, you make a new thing.
For sure.
Whatever, it's gonna
I'm excited about that. I think
I'm really excited because like, dude, I can finally, like, let's say in the future of Destiny that like there's 3 main activities that I like to play, PvE, PvP, and maybe not Gambit, but maybe some form of whatever the fuck comes around.
Wilson, real quick, you were right. Matt Grundy in chat is saying that was the seasonal artifact, not the armor. So maybe it's a seasonal artifact you put on the armor. Not sure. I need to, or maybe that was the seasonal artifact. We need to look into it.
I think we need more information. Yeah. I think
we're digesting an hour and a half of information, maybe 2 hours if you count all the other stuff that's happened into our 2-hour show, and it's like, and we're talking about it too. So it is a lot.
Tough. Fuck, I totally lost my train of thought.
Armor stuff, the mods. You finally get to use what you want.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much. So yeah, I could have a PvE set, I could have a PvP set, and then whatever else other activity comes around. Instead of like I could have like my dream set of armors for each activity, and not like this hodgepodge like thrift shop of a mess of like that is armor. Like
yes. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
So much excitement, so much things on the up and up, dude. It's hard to like contain it. Like it just makes me want to just jump on and play. Like you were saying that it's weird.
I'm gonna get on right after this.
Dude, my PlayStation's already on. So it's just funny that like we were talking about the timing of it. And like, man, we just had this big thing and all this hype and stuff, but like it makes me even more excited to go play the things that I'm already excited to go play. So I think it's kind of the timing of all this like announcements and shit was really good.
Yeah, totally agree.
Really like
sorry, I mentioned Mindy in chat. Which is I won't get into it. And so there was one trials stuff. because we mentioned trials earlier, we've been talking about PvP and armor stuff, but earlier what we didn't get to is when he brought up trials, he basically said, you know, all this stuff about like we should have focused on Crucible more, but also the reason that trials isn't back, the reason that they gave it, I thought it was really good. And True Vanguard made a tweet that rephrased it, what Luke Smith said a little bit more, that was really good too. But what Luke Smith said is basically they want to fix the foundation of PvP before they just throw trials in and expect that to fix everything. Because he basically acknowledges like, hey, there's some foundational stuff with PvP that we want to make better before we bring trials back, or not before we bring trials back, but before we do a trials like experience again, basically. And I am totally on board with that, even though the wait has sucked. Like, totally, I'm with everyone. Like, I hate it just as much as the next person that we don't have it right now. And some people were complaining that, like, man, you've had a year and you're just now working on the foundational changes. They've been working on it the whole time. They've had the split from Activision. They're redoing the entire content, like, the way they do everything. Like, there's so much that's been going on. I know the people at Bungie work hard.
There's been sweeping changes too that keep happening. There's been sweeping changes with more sweeping changes planned in the future.
Exactly.
You know,
and they showed us in studio footage of people testing Crucible stuff. Like, you know, it's happening. Like,
for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have a Crucible team.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to put a boat on the pond for the very first time and have it fucking sink.
Mm-hmm. Depends.
Because
who's in the boat?
Or if it's a submarine.
No, it's still sinking. Sinking isn't good. Submerging is okay.
There you go. That was the exact word I was going to. Yeah.
Actually, you might be worse off sinking in a submarine. With a boat, at least you just swim out. Submarine gets a little dicey.
That's true. They don't say sink underwater. They do. They dive to a certain depth. Yeah. If you say the submarine is sinking, you might get some fucking weird looks. Like.
I think with all the stream stuff, there's more we could talk about because there was so much interview, especially the story stuff. But instead of diving into that, I just want to hit on the TWAB really quick. There wasn't much extra, but yeah, sinking. But did want to give a congratulations to Be Bold group for World's First. They killed it. And that was their first World's First too. I think they were talking about, which Datto was trying to get his first too. He's had a lot of second and thirds, you know, so we feel it's like, you know, when you're waiting for someone to win an Oscar and they like have been going after it forever and you're like, come on,
DiCaprio.
Leo was the guy I was thinking of actually. So yes.
I know. I saw it in your eyes.
You knew. Yeah. We're on the same page, on the same wavelength. So congrats to them. What's really cool is they announced their presence at Guardian Con. Some of the things they're going to be doing there, which we talked about, Morla or playing Eris, she's going to be there doing stuff. They're going to have a live Crucible tournament thing where you can like that's called risk reward, where you win something and you can try and
win these coins, and then you can bet them to like get shit from them that's only going to be available there. Yeah, that's cool.
Which sounds pretty competitive, you know. But then with the raid stuff, they're actually having the big show come in to hand out the raid belts that everyone has won. And if you're not there, they'll ship it to you, of course. But that's going to be so cool to live in person have him of all people.
I would assume they already have some idea that at least most of that team's going to be there, right? Because they're not going to announce that they're going to hand out belts to these 6 people and not...
I don't know. Maybe.
Listen, dude, if you say we got the big show to give you a belt, you fucking make time.
No, that's
for this
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
unless you have like a family health emergency that pops up or something, you go and you get your fucking title presented to you by the big show. How cool would that be?
I'll give you a belt. I'll present you with a belt at Guardian.
He'll give you a big show.
Yeah,
I'll give you
Lego. Nice.
I'll give you a big show. Some people call me the big show.
Right, I'm sure. Right.
More self-proclaimed nicknames, Hope.
One more cool thing at Guardian Con. Bungie's also going to do a live ride-along, which would be really awesome to on stage, like have Bungie show, and you're in the audience as they're talking through the space. Because a lot of times they do it during the day when you're at work or you're at home with your family and you just don't have time. But if you're all in, like you're attending the event and the devs are there talking you through the way they design like 0 Hour or Whisper the Worm or something like that, would be
energy.
This is very cool. I was
You'd
gonna
have to
say
be
it seems like it'd be very intimate, but then Hove threw out the big dick energy.
Yeah, and then it got weird.
It just ruined it.
Listen, I get very intimate with my big dick energy. I'm not like with it. Like, me,
Whoa.
Like I use. Never mind. You know what else is going on at Guardian Con?
You could just cut out the energy part.
Hove,
and
I don't know what else
would be amazing.
Well, do you know who is? Are there going to be any? Because there are different vendors that are going to be at GC, but I don't think there's one vendor that we have here on this show. In a way, we've got blue microphones and headphones.
Are they going to be there?
I don't know. I just tried to make it.
I was like, that
they might be.
I was like, I gotta say hi to Joel.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. No, okay, but blue microphones and headphones are what you've been listening through to our beautiful voices through. I cannot talk at all right now. But whatever I do say, these microphones make me sound awesome. And so if they do.
100%.
Yeah, no, I edit the show, Hove. I know that it makes me sound awesome.
Do you edit the show?
He has the voice of an angel.
You know what, Hove? You asked a very good question. I don't actually have to edit the show that much because these blue microphones and headphones make me sound so awesome. So I don't really have to try that hard.
You're welcome.
So if you're looking to get some of these for yourself, you can go to bluemic.com and get yourself some microphones and headphones like Botbuster got recently and is going to start doing some YouTube videos, Bot. Is that what you're doing? Hove called you out.
Yeah.
Yo, can we plug that in chat right now?
Why would you go to Blue Mics and get them? Why are we telling you that?
Because according to Lego, they'll edit your video for you.
Because you can go to bluemic.com and use code REZOcast to get 20% off.
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
And your mics will edit your audio for you.
And like Gornak said, he can feel the big dick energy coming through the speakers, all thanks to Blue.
I don't know if Blue wants you endorsing that energy.
Everybody
knows. It's 2019.
Yeah, man.
Bro. Okay.
But no, in all seriousness, do you know what else is happening at Guardian Con?
Hove's gonna be there. Hove76. He's gonna have his own meet and greet. It's gonna be at the Fiesta Ranchero Bar and Grill.
You just made that up.
I know there's totally not a Fiesta Ranchero Bar and Grill in Florida.
It's gonna be at Taco Bell
on Saturday. Big show's there Friday, but the big show is happening Saturday.
Which is?
Wow, you guys are really bad friends. I've already talked about this. You're supposed to remember. It's my birthday.
Oh,
it's Hove's birthday!
God, now I feel like an asshole. Holy shit!
The best, man. The worst part was, like, no one guessed. I went silent and looked at you guys like you were gonna have some, and there was just nothing. No one.
Like, why would I be a horrible friend? And now I realize
I'm to the brim with so much content right now, Hove. My mind is like mush right now.
Listen,
I can't handle another infogasm.
There's always room. There's always room for Hove. You can never be too filled.
That's true, actually. Well, do I want to admit to this? I'm not sure.
Don't elaborate any further, Lego.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to wishing you happy birthday, Hove.
No, I don't want.
I'm gonna call you on your birthday and annoy the shit out of you and be like, "Hey, Hove, guess what? Guess what?" Like you do to Lego when you call him.
Well, that's because we missed Lego.
Well, maybe I'll miss you when you're there.
Oh, what? You don't play with? You talk to me once a week anyway.
Still miss you.
Maybe I won't talk to you for a couple weeks, so it's just that much more.
Oh, well, I think that's it for this week. We had so much stuff to go through. Thank you so much, chat, for hanging out with us, and we will discuss further the story of Shadowkeep and everything else as we move along the next few weeks. But thank you so much, chat, for hanging out. Thank you so much for listening to us. If you're listening on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you listen to us, you can catch us every week. Just keep up with REZOcast at REZOcast on Twitter or Team Resolute on Twitter, our clan, which is going to be joining each other on PC and PS4 because now we can crossplay in the future. That's going to be so tight. But this has been Lego, aka Lego LE Flash. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube at Lego LE Flash. Hove, where can they find you?
Most of those same places. Twitter, Twitch, Hove76. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right here doing the thing. You can also find me... I don't know. I can't think of anything this week. Wilson?
You can find me on Twitter, Ryu Wilson. That's RYU Wilson. Damn, I had to think about it for a second. I am struggling tonight, guys. I'm so tired.
Dude, there's
until
so
then,
much,
though,
man.
you could find me up in the Menagerie, fucking cheesing the hell out of that chest
Dude,
until they
yeah.
patch that shit. So if
Let's
you see
do
me
it in a second.
Yeah, if you see me cheesing the chest, throw me a friend request. Say what up.
Yeah. Well, I think that is it. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys next week. Until next time, GG.
What?
GG's.
What?